comes. We're recording.
All right, record.
Take a moment.
Oh no.
It's happening. Does this bring back memories?
You know, I was one of the few years where we had it in Vegas, so it was a very different Miss America experience, but that's the classic Atlantic City,
So
New
this
Jersey
wasn't the song?
experience. A
Oh,
little bit.
they created it, didn't they?
Yeah. Yeah,
Right.
it was so different for us. We were in Vegas.
So what's the song called? Because I want to find it. Oh, here. No, this is Miss Universe.
Yeah, there isn't one. We didn't have one.
So this wouldn't excite you. Sounds like Christmas.
I don't know what that is.
Sounds like Christmas in a can.
I don't know what it is.
Oh, this is
Or like game show.
not do that. Hi, everybody. It's Juliana and
Tweeting over here.
Juliana.
Juliana and Juliana reunited once more.
Finally. Excellent.
Not enough
Everyone
though.
who knows us from our days at AMDA in Los Angeles will understand the running joke of where's Juliana?
No, nobody will ever know.
With the other Juliana.
Nobody will ever know.
We were always attached. So this is my best friend Juliana Urdez, also Miss Nevada. What year did you win the title of Miss Nevada?
I was Miss Nevada for the Miss America organization in 2008, but I competed in 2009, January. And then I also held Miss Nevada USA title in 2010. So I held both.
Okay, so my questions for today, and I love that you don't even know what I'm going to ask you, so it's going to be
this is like the final round question of pageant competition.
It's going to be
fun. I was like, let's do it. Let's do it real time.
Let's just, because then it's real authenticity, and I like that. So you have no idea what's coming your way. So let's quickly talk about, I do have questions from the Peanut Gallery as well at the end, so it's a very fun conversation with you. But let's start from the very beginning.
The very beginning.
You were born where?
I was born in the US, but I'm first generation. So both my parents are Hungarian. So they immigrated into New York. My mom was 21, my dad was 11. And I was born first generation. So all my cousins are the ones that were born here, but my entire family on both sides is from Hungary.
Wow. Okay, and then you ended up in Nevada.
I did. We moved to Nevada when I was 16. So I actually grew up on the East Coast. I grew up in Florida. And then spent a couple years in Hungary actually when I was a kid. And we ended up on the East Coast when I was about 14, ended up in Reno, Nevada when I was 16.
Do you like Nevada? What do you do in Nevada other than gamble? Is there anything else?
So I'm up in northern Nevada. I'm right up by Lake Tahoe. Mm-hmm. So it's just beautiful high desert with Lake Tahoe in all of its glory about 40 minutes away. Okay. Very far from Vegas, about 10-hour drive from Vegas.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So, I mean, we do have elements of what would be familiar of Las Vegas with, the casinos and things like that. We're the biggest little city in the world. Oh. But with Tahoe nearby, I like to kind of, it's very outdoorsy and we're right on the California border. So there's a lot to do here. It's beautiful.
Oh, that's awesome. Okay. So, what was your childhood like? Let's start from the real beginning.
Oh gosh. My childhood was crazy. It's really funny when I started doing pageantry, I knew kind of what I wanted to talk about and what was important to me at the time, but I didn't really know why. I grew up, I did horseback riding lessons, piano lessons. My parents owned businesses. I grew up in a video store. They owned video stores my whole entire childhood. We were well off from what I knew and what I understood. I never needed anything, wanted anything, never felt like I was missing out on anything. Went to private school, but my dad was really sick. So my dad was sick my entire life. Grew up in hospitals kind of in a way. I didn't know anything different. So I thought that was normal, was going to the hospital all the time.
And like what age were you when you started going to the hospital?
I don't remember ever not, actually. It was just a part of my daily life, kind of in a way, was just knowing that he didn't feel good and he wasn't well and he was in the hospital sometimes and we'd go visit sometimes. And that was my normal. So I actually didn't really understand or know anything different. And it wasn't like it was a huge drastic change from something, like he had an accident or anything like that. It was just, that was life. Um, and so, yeah, I think growing up, I never really felt different or didn't like, I always blended in and was well off, I think, from what I understood as a kid. And then when I was 12 years old, we moved into a 29-foot RV and moved out of the house that we were in and moved out of Florida, moved to the West Coast, moved to a town of 5,000 people in Quincy, California. And we lived in that RV for 5 years. So a good part of my teenage years, from 13 to about 17, I actually didn't even have a door to close.
Wow.
If you look at an RV and there's that little upper cab portion up above the driver and the passenger seat, that was my room for 5 years. I was 12 and a half when we moved in there. And I think I was 17, probably 17 when we moved into an apartment and I got to close a door for the first time in my teenage life. And with that, of course, comes challenges. I mean, you put three grown people into a 29 RV. But those were the most challenging years of my life. And, the arts is kind of what got me through, even though I didn't really quite understand. I always loved to sing. I always loved to talk to people and be in front of people. And I was homeschooled at the time. We were on welfare. We went to food banks because my mom was the only breadwinner in the family. And I just grew up taking care of my dad in my teenage years and being homeschooled and living in an RV. And his health problems caused a lot of problems, in the sense that there was some alcoholism involved and just everything that kind of comes along with that. Sorry, I'm getting a little off track, but I feel like I have so much to talk about. And this is what I ended up talking about my entire years as Miss Nevada. And I didn't really quite know it at the time. So when I started competing, I knew that I had a story of some sort, and I knew I wanted to do this big thing, but I didn't really quite understand why. And living in the RV were the hardest years of my life. I still, even in my adult life, have a lot of healing to do from some of those times, because that I was completely, in every sense of the word, an at-risk youth. And there's no reason by society's standards that I should have ever been successful. But I didn't know it at the time because I sang, I had my little dog, and I have an amazing mom. And, she was always there for me to support me if I wanted to go sing at the Demolition Derby or audition for the local baseball team to sing the national anthem. So I had the arts to pull me through some of the hardest times of my life, even though I didn't really quite understand that at the time.
What did your mom think you would become?
From the time I knew what singing was and performing was, I was always singing and talking to people. And my friend who I've known since I was 3 years old, we still joke about this all the time, but anytime I was with them, her mom would lose me in the grocery store because I would be talking to strangers and singing for them. I'm not even kidding you. I remember singing The Little Mermaid to just random strangers and anybody who would listen. And so my mom, I think, always knew that I loved singing and wanted to maybe kind of do something along those lines. But I grew up wanting to be a veterinarian. I come from a line of performers, though. My mom was a singer. You actually can kind of probably see this photo back here. My mom was a famous singer in Hungary at the time in the 60s and 70s. With with her brother and sister. And my grandmother was a ballerina. My aunt and uncle were like ice dancers and almost made it to the Olympics.
Oh my gosh.
I have a lot of arts in my family. So it's no surprise that I kind of ended up that way. But yeah.
Okay, you gotta send me some of her music. That's wild.
Yeah, really cool,
She
right?
was the star. Well, it's funny because when we started this, I was like, "Is that Marilyn Monroe?" I'm like, no, that's my mom.
And my
But
dad,
now that I look at her face, her face is identical to yours, minus just the blonde hair. But that's her face.
I don't look good as a blonde. I've tried on a few wigs before, and I had to be a blonde in shows. I am not a blonde. Yeah. However, and my dad also took that photo too because he was a photographer in New York City. Yeah.
Oh, beautiful. Yeah, I want to hear her music. That's amazing. So definitely showcasing performers and successful performers. I mean, to get into the Olympics, like that's
I mean, they grew up during communism, so there's who knows what would have happened if that wasn't taken into consideration.
Yeah.
And if it wasn't those times. But yeah.
Wow. That's amazing. I feel like, how did I not even know this about you? But it's nice because now we're all learning.
Yeah, there's a lot. It's funny. My whole family with being Hungarian, I mean, Hungarians, Eastern European, I mean, it's very arts driven and arts centered. And so, yeah, there's a lot on both sides of my family. It's really cool.
And your mom, it must have been kind of an escape for her also dealing with your dad's illness to, encourage you to get into the performing arts. Like
Yeah,
take
I think
all this
so.
take
I mean, I was so
living
young.
vicariously through you. Is that okay? Can I do is that no? Like I
Oh,
say to escape it.
I I would never say that my mom was a stage mom, and I don't
Yeah.
want it to be mixed with that because I mean that is a question. And the first question that a lot of people ask me when they find out I used to do pageantry and I'm involved in a way still is, oh, did you do it when you were a kid? And it's not something I grew up doing. And my mom was definitely not a stage mom in any way, shape, or form. I mean, she kind of became that as time went on to be my support
Right.
system because she was all I had. But yeah, she just I think anything that I really kind of wanted to do, she always encouraged me, and she still does to this
Yeah,
day.
I know. She's such a good mommy. She's a
Yeah.
wonderful mom. And I think
Yeah.
it's beautiful that I feel like she saw a piece of you, like a piece of her in you and all your talent and what you could become because she really couldn't. She became a caretaker in a
Mhm.
sense to your dad. She had to
Yeah.
give that up to support the family. So it's beautiful that she's been with you on your journey. And I agree, she's not a stage mom. She is a
No,
mega support.
which I
She's
appreciate. She's just
very,
always kept in the background, and she does what I need and what I needed help with.
yeah.
But I'm definitely not a stage mom.
No, I've seen stage moms. Your mom's not a stage mom.
No, no.
Yeah. So did you ever think, what was your first memory of a pageant? Do you even remember seeing that or even knowing what it was?
No. Um, I'm sure as a kid I watched them, but it wasn't something that actually I honestly don't even really know. The only reason I even knew what the Miss America system was from my mentor. In high school, I had the most incredible dance teacher who, to this day, is one of my bestest friends. As we've both gotten older, and now, I'm not 16 anymore. It's been just a really awesome transition to just being really solid friends, and I love her so much. But besides my mom, she is the biggest influence, and I 100% am what I am because of her today. But she introduced me to the Miss America system.
So you didn't
And
even know really what that was.
no,
So when she's like, you should try Miss America, were you like,
yes, I was. But
uh,
I'll tell you why, because it was so out of my comfort zone. Not anything I ever dreamed of really doing. Didn't really know anything about it. However, it's the number one scholarship program for young women in the United States at the time. And I currently don't know what numbers are because there have been some changes and I've just been out of the loop for a while. But at the time, it was like $56 million a year through a local, state, national level that the Miss America organization was giving women in the program. And that's what got me there. I said, I know that I want to go to college. I don't necessarily really know exactly what I want to do, but if I win this, I get $1,000 for school. Yes, I'm
yeah.
there. I would try it because I had no other resources. I didn't have my parents to lean on for funds for school. And, I was eligible for some other scholarships, but uh,
When
they've
you
been,
first realized like to do a pageant, there's like these sections, right? Like the ball gown, the bathing suit, the talent, is there something else I'm missing?
interview.
The interview. Were
Yeah.
you kind of like, eh?
Yes.
Okay.
Because I'm scared. I had no idea how to do any of that. I knew
But
how to be.
why the bathing suits? Like, it drives me bananas.
It originated as a swimsuit competition. Like that's how the whole thing originated. And so the swimsuit portion of Miss America kind of stayed in the program for so long because that was the history of it. Back in Atlantic City, it was a bathing suit competition.
So it was like an
Um,
homage to the past, and they just never shifted it because people loved it. Probably drew the
yeah,
attention in the numbers, right?
yeah, and that's just what it was, right? Um, I knew how to be a character. I didn't know how to be myself.
Mm.
I wasn't comfortable with myself yet at the time. I just turned 19, I think, when I first competed. And I had no idea how to be me and what I wanted to really do. I didn't know myself well enough to really have a platform or a purpose
Hmm.
in that sense. But I knew how to sing, and I knew how to be on stage. So I think that helped. But Once I got into personal interview, it was 12 minutes in front of 5 people who could ask you anything that they want to. That's terrifying.
12
And that
minutes.
takes practice. Yeah.
Okay.
Nothing's off the table. Nothing's off the table either.
So that's
And
why
it's
you were like,
changed
let's
over the
go,
years.
let's go. I don't need
Yeah.
the questions
Yeah.
prior. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And it's changed over the years, you know, but yeah, I mean, I was just fresh out of high school, didn't really it's a really interesting time. I have some really interesting photos and memories of those first couple years in pageants.
Do you feel like if you entered a pageant, like what's the cutoff age? Like when are they like, no, you're too old, see you later?
Well, the Miss America organization, I believe it's 25 now. The Miss USA, Miss Universe organization is 27, 28, depending on when your birthday falls.
They should have like a 35 plus because I feel like finally you kind of get it by 35. You're like,
Yeah.
okay, I think I kind of get it.
Right?
Like I would like a nice 35 to 65 category.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I feel like that's when you really turn into that beautiful fine wine where you could actually like I totally understand it's a scholarship program, you're lost, you're learning poise to be a lady, but how cool if there was like a part two, like a sequel.
Miss America Part 2.
Part two, the
There's
golden divas.
there's a million pageants out there. So there is a pageant for everything. I will say that. There's there's Ms. categories, MS categories for single unmarried ladies
Oh,
over the age of 30. There's a million out there. There's Miss Senior America, there's Mrs. America. So I always encourage, I do coaching still every once in a while, and I always encourage anybody to try something new because you'll learn something regardless of what happens. Whether you walk away with the title, you learn something from that experience, but there literally is a pageant for everything.
okay, well, shocker, in Carleton University I did join the Carleton Miss Universe. I think it was called
Really?
the Carleton Universe pageant. And I remember joining it just because I really wanted to perform, like
Yeah.
showcase my, because there was no talent show. So I was like, well, I want to do something. I want to do a dance. I want to dance. So I
Yeah.
joined Carleton Universe pageant, whatever it was. And the thing that I learned from it is how much I never want to wear a bathing suit on stage ever again. Like,
Yeah.
I remember the bathing suit I wore, and
Yeah.
with certain sunglasses, like sunglasses as well, with hoop
Uh-huh.
earrings and high heels and
Mhm.
very muscular dancer legs. And I have a picture, and every time I see it, I'm like, this should never exist. And I'm so happy that it wasn't during a time that people had photos.
How have I never seen that
I
photo
think I
though?
have the one photo, and I'm like,
Please send it to me. I need to see it.
it is all wrong. It is all wrong. But I was in shock when I was eliminated in the first round because I was like, my dance. No, because I really needed to get to the second round to dance.
Yeah.
That was the whole purpose of doing the thing. And I wanted to just dance for everyone because I knew I couldn't pass by walking or being in a bathing suit. So I got eliminated in the first round and I was so bummed because I just wanted to perform. So they were so disorganized backstage. I'm just going to
Yeah.
say. So I went to one of the down. My child is not understanding when I'm doing interviews, so she will be in very interesting trouble in a second. You're live. Everyone's going to see this. You might as well come say hi at this point. So I went backstage and I told them, can I just, you guys are trying to figure out what the next thing is going to be. Everyone's waiting in the audience. Can I just do my dance? So they just popped in my like tape. I think it was a CD at the time actually that I burned. It was like I did a little remix.
Yeah.
And I just went on and did me. But it was just hilarious. I actually did my dance in.
You still got to do it.
I forced them. Basically, they were like, "Who's next? I don't know what's happening." And it was like 20 minutes. And I looked into the audience. I'm like, "Oh my gosh, it's like 20 minutes of dead air." I'm like, "No. Don't worry, team. You eliminated me, but Mama J's back." Anyways, enough about me. This is
Here I am.
yeah, no. Okay, so my next question for you.
Yeah.
Let's go into the behind the scenes look of the pageant world. Like this is like the real deal stuff here. So what would you say the girls are like? What are the girls like once you get to that level when you are in Miss America?
It's really it's okay.
Okay. So what is the behind world of pageant life like?
Yeah. I think half of your year as a title holder, whether you're local, state, or national, is overcoming stereotypes and convincing people that those aren't true. I have to say that once you get to Miss America, you get to this group of women who are the only people in the entire world who have any idea what you're going through in that moment. So you get there, you meet these women, and you're just like, oh my gosh, I can't believe that I can talk about these things, X, Y, and Z, and you have an idea of what I'm talking about and what I'm going through. Because it is very unique. You know, you're worried about sponsors, you're worried about your director, you're worried about appearances, you're worried about, you know, your own personal funds, your wardrobe, and this image that you're creating to not only represent yourself, but also a national, state, local organization, recruitment, and quote unquote normal people in your life don't understand that. My friends who I met through college who work at, you know, the airport or at Microsoft, they don't understand pageant girl problems. And so you get to Miss America and you have this incredible sisterhood, and it isn't stereotype at all, in the sense that those are the only people who have any idea what you're going through. And I can call up any one of those girls to this day, a couple of years later, I'm not going to say how many, and have a conversation with them and feel like we just saw each other yesterday. We have a Facebook group, and all my Miss America ladies, we even Zoomed just recently, had a huge kind of like Zoom reunion, and we talked for 2 hours, and we still just wanted to talk even more because we just had this huge Zoom of, there was about 42 of us there, of just kind of catching up, and it truly, honestly, 100%, as cliche as it sounds, is a sisterhood. And all of my bestest friends I've met through pageants, and just amazing women who are doing world changing things, doctors, lawyers, politicians. Yeah, it's just, it really is incredible.
Do you find a majority of the girls who were in the pageants challenge have their own adversities as well?
Absolutely. You know, we all have a story, and we all have a reason that we got into doing what we do. I mean, the portion that people see, the on stage stuff, the TV stuff, the red carpet stuff, that is such a small percentage of what you actually spend your time doing. I did over 250 appearances in my year as Miss Nevada. That included every single school except for 2 here in the state of Nevada that I visited, talked to kids, did an outreach arts program with them, Big Brothers, Big Sisters, Boys and Girls Clubs, DARE programs. I was keynote speaker at a couple of different high schools. That's what your year is spent doing. And so people, again, have a lot of stereotypes built up, whether it's for movies or just their own perception, or, you know, maybe they've met somebody that gave them an image of what they think all of us are like, but it really is honestly so much more than that. And the on-stage portion is just like that much of it.
Okay, so what would you say the stereotypes are for pageant girls in general?
Oh gosh, we're ditzy.
Give me 4.
We're ditzy. We're only pretty faces, you know. We're just dramatic, and we're just out to be cutthroat to all the girls that we meet. We have nothing else going on in our life. We're all really rich. We come from big bank accounts. There's a lot of them. But that was the most fun part of being Miss Nevada, was sitting down next to that person who's never met one and changing their mind in that 5 minutes that I got to meet them.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
So awesome. Okay, well, let's say, what did you like least about Miss America, the pageant?
And I'll classify, or I'll clarify, not classify, I'll clarify. So I did do the Miss USA system as well. And again, there's a lot of different programs out there too. So I'll say that my least favorite part of pageants in general, not just Miss America specifically, and maybe not even Miss America, you know, I think, gosh, this is going to sound really funny, but once you come from something so big and so perceived as successful, it's really hard to kind of get back into the swing of normal life. Going from Miss America and being at just this high and this peak, where Miss USA, even, I'll just Miss America, Miss USA, you know, we did the Ellen show, we did reality shows, we got VIP service everywhere we went, right? Because there's this group of girls in crowns. I did worldwide interviews. I did an interview that was aired during primetime news in Hungary by a Hungarian network. I got to do these really amazing, wonderful, beautiful things that I worked very hard for. And sometimes it can come off as though a lot was just given out, right? It is very hard, though, to come from that peak of success, and I'll say quote unquote success because there's many more things that I did and many more things that girls do afterwards that are the peak of their lives. But at the time, it was really hard for me to just kind of get back into the swing of just like normalcy, because again, not many people around you really quite understand it. And you feel like you're kind of always defending what you did and what it's really about and what you really did and why you really did it. Even to this day, you know, I meet somebody and they find out I was Miss Nevada. It's like I feel like I defend myself.
Right.
Yeah, I kind of went on a tangent there. Sorry, my
No,
mind's.
I'm wondering why it is such a
Yeah.
stigma. Like, why is it a stigma? And I think it's the bathing suit portion.
Yeah.
I think it's the bathing suits because it's just so unnecessary, because it feels it's just like you're a piece of meat on stage, and it's a very vulnerable moment. I don't think anyone should be exposed to that much skin in heels, period. Flip-flops, maybe.
I was never one who didn't like the swimsuit portion, and I'll tell you
Interesting.
I know. Even though it's, for me, the thing I felt like the hardest thing that I had to work on, it gave me motivation and it gave me the confidence to go out there. And yes, again, I know it sounds cliche. And my friend group and pageant groups were very split on this. There's half of us that really liked it and wanted it to stay. And there's half of us that hated it and thought it was terrible and thought it was all these horrible things. And we're so glad that it was eliminated. I always liked it. It gave me a reason to be healthy. Can it lead to unhealthy things? Yes. That's anything in life, though. That's dance, that's entertainment, that's a singer, that's a newscaster. Anything where you're in the public eye, you're at risk of, you know, possibly going down a road that you shouldn't be on when it comes to your weight or your beauty or just your confidence in general. However, I always liked it because it gave me the motivation to work towards something. And when I competed at Miss USA, I looked really good. You know, at the time, I'd worked really hard to be there, but I was also the healthiest that I'd have ever been. I was fully raw vegan at the time. And I really took care of myself. I took care of my mental health because I wanted to do it healthily. And again, it just like kind of gave me the motivation to be healthy and be aware and be conscious of what I'm putting in my body, and not just what I'm showing to the outwardly to the world. That's part of it. But there's a lot of options. There was always an option to do one piece. Some girls didn't. And yeah, it's a topic that, again, is all the stereotypes, but everything online was split with people that agree and people that completely disagree.
What do you think the future of the pageant system is going to be like now with the pandemic?
You know, this is the first year so Miss America was canceled for 2020. So girls kept their titles for 2 years. So whoever competed at Miss America 19 is also still Miss State 2020, because there was no state competitions. I think there was 2 that ended up still going on. So there's 2 different title holders, or, you know, a small number. I'm not exact on the numbers, but this is the first year that those girls kept their titles for 2 years.
So they have to double down on well, I guess their duties aren't so.
Yeah. If they chose to, I think, and again, I'm a little out of the loop, but I think they had an option to say no if they wanted to. But yeah, it's just a really weird time. I feel bad for the girls who were ready, and it's just like any other big event. Same with the Olympics. You know, you had these people, these athletes who trained so hard for this specific moment for it to be taken away. And it's hard to stay in that peak to be ready the next time it does come around, if it comes around. And then life happens, you know. I think there's probably a lot of girls who chose to kind of move on in different directions, whether it's a school or families, or just different goals that they had in life. So yeah, it's been an interesting year and sad, but what do you do? That's everything right now.
Let's see. I have so many more.
How haven't done anything like this, so I'm a little rusty. I
Oh
apologize.
no, oh my gosh, I think you're answering perfectly. I have so many questions. I guess my other question would be, do you feel like there's enough diversity? Do you think there's enough diversity?
Diversity.
That's,
Yeah.
where was I going with that word? Diversify?
No. Is
Diversion.
it diversified enough? I don't
Is it
know.
diversified? Yeah, it was like a mixed sentence right there. Like, do you feel like I feel there's a very specific body type that I feel enters pageantry, and
Yeah.
I don't know if that's a healthy thing because I feel the kids who are watching it don't see it as a healthy thing because there isn't enough body diversification.
Diversification. So with the swimsuit portion being taken out, I think that attracted more women who.
When was it removed? I didn't even know it was removed.
The swimsuit portion of Miss America was taken out 2 years ago now, or 3 years ago.
Okay. Do you know why?
I think it was just to update the system a little bit, to bring interview and platform even more to the spotlight.
That's
The
awesome.
whole scoring system changed, even with talent and everything too.
Good.
And new ownership, new TV network. So,
and what do you think about the changes? What do you think about the changes?
I actually got to go to Miss America in 2008, 19. My years are mixing up now.
I don't remember anything from yesterday. I don't know what year we're in. Well, yeah, I do because what we've dealt with. So
yeah, I went to Miss America in 2019. That's what it was. My teen queen. So when I was Miss Nevada 2008, I had this beautiful teen queen. Her name was Alexis, and she actually won Miss Nevada America on my 10th year anniversary.
Oh wow!
It was really, really special, and I ended up going to Atlantic City to cheer her on, and it was kind of mixed in with, going to support her and be there for her and just see her compete, but then also to see some of my Miss America sisters for our 10-year anniversary. And I had never been to Atlantic City. So there was a few years where Miss America was held in Las Vegas, which is where mine took place. But historically, and until the last time it took place, it was in Atlantic City. And so I just kind of wanted to go see the history of it and go to Boardwalk Hall and see all those different elements that were what classic Miss America was versus the Las Vegas version of Miss America. And with that, it was just really, really special to see her compete and go there. But that was the first year that swimsuit and everything was taken out, and that the competition format was completely changed. And so now instead of evening gown, it's like a platform statement. So they walk on a red carpet in an outfit of their choice. Most girls chose an evening gown, most if not all, and then just do a statement, kind of like a sound bite for the red carpet about what it is that is important to them and what their platform is all about. So I miss the glitz and the glam of it. I do feel like some of that's been taken out and taken away. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how it evolves over the years, because even going into what if it's able to be held this upcoming year, it's just so different.
So up in the air. That's true. Mm-hmm. Okay, well, what would you tell your 18-year-old self today?
Oh gosh, I had no idea who I was then. I also just didn't really know what I wanted or what I was capable of accomplishing. I think I held myself back. I think just don't hold yourself back. Go for whatever it is that you want, no matter how big or out of reach it may seem. Miss Nevada for me when I was 18 was completely out of reach. It was never something I thought that I would accomplish. But it's something I knew that I wanted and that I was passionate about. And whether that's school or, a big dream, whatever it might be, I think don't hold yourself back. We tend to do that. We tend to kind of get in our own heads or let people influence us differently. And if you dedicate yourself 100% to something, you can achieve it.
That's awesome. So I love that.
I would tell my 18-year-old self that is just to stop worrying, just keep going for whatever it is that you want. Yeah.
Perfect. Okay, so I have the questions from the peanut gallery.
Yes, let's do this. I'm ready.
Felipe asks.
Uh-oh.
Felipe asks. What advice would you give to a single father raising a toddler girl on how he can teach his daughter to know her value outside of external beauty?
Mm, that's a really good one. I'm not a mom yet. I'm not a parent yet. So I don't have those joys and hardships in my life quite yet. I hope to one day. I think the hardest part about raising a child in general, and specifically a girl, is, teach them to know what their boundaries are and to be able to say no. Teach them to know that their worth stands in what they do and what they want to accomplish and what's around them and who's in their life versus what they look like. Um, I That's a really good question, and I knew it would be.
Oh,
Yeah,
Felipe. Felipe.
yeah. Unfortunately, we do folk, and I don't see that ever changing. I do love that we are opening up more to, different genders and different ideals for different genders and gender fluid and all of that in fashion specifically. I just saw there's a ballerina, a male ballerina that just trained to be an on point dancer. And so he'll be doing female and male roles that are traditional female male roles. And he'll
Send
be
it to
doing
me.
both of them. But I think, yeah, as a parent, it's important to just kind of teach your kids what's important. And that's the people that are around you and what their dreams are, and to just focus on that. Because then I think everything else will fall into place. If kids and girls have a strong support system, and they're told that it's okay to say no and have a voice, then the rest of it's just gonna fall into place.
That's beautiful. Izzy asks, any tips on how to deal with feeling awkward and different?
We're all awkward and different at some point in our life. I think the key part of that is to just know who you are, know what you want to give to other people, be a good person, and just focus on the friendships that you have. And everybody's different. We all feel different. We all feel awkward. I was so awkward and so different for so many years, but that's what made me who I am now, and gosh, I feel like I'm, again, so cliche, but it's true. It's like, if I wasn't that 13 to 17-year-old living in an RV, I wouldn't be the person that I am today.
Right.
And I was the epitome of awkward and different. I don't know anybody who went through that still to this day. So embrace it and know that that's going to make you a stronger person in the end. And yeah.
Awesome. Okay, what's your favorite round in the pageant world? Like the favorite round in the pageant?
I loved talent. Talent was always my favorite. I love to sing and perform. That's where I'm most comfortable. So I always loved that. But then I grew to love interview. Interview was my weakest point when I won. And it's something I think I had to work the hardest on, was because I was still learning who I was and what I stand for and what I want to speak for. And I had to work really hard for interview, but I grew to really love it. It's the challenge that I loved, and just being able to meet new people and create an impression on people that you meet.
That's awesome. Okay, so there's two more questions.
Yeah.
Aaron asks, how do you think COVID will change the future in a positive way?
I think we have all had to kind of fold inwards and find out what makes us happy versus the things that we were doing. I did lose my job with COVID. I'm living at my mom's house right now, and my life was completely altered. However, it's taken that for me to sit here and go, okay, what is it that I really want to do? What is it that I really actually love, versus grinding at a job that maybe isn't the right fit for me? Or it's just, I think, forced a lot of people to find what it is that actually makes them happy versus what they've gotten used to. And I think that is going to be a really good thing. A lot of new artists, or people have changed their life paths completely because of what COVID's thrown at them, and kind of learning to deal with the negative and learning to deal with the hardships, and just kind of, maybe spending time on ourselves too, and with our families. And family has always been the most important thing for me. So my silver lining of all of this is I'm living with my mom, who's in her 70s. In my adult life, I've never been able to spend this much time with her, What a blessing. And when have we been forced to, hey, stay at home for 2 weeks and either not work or not do the things that you were doing that maybe defined you? You get to stay home and be with yourself, which is hard and it's awkward and it's uncomfortable. But I think that that is going to be the silver lining of a lot of people's situations for COVID, is that maybe they got to know themselves a little bit more. And once hopefully things change a little bit so we can get back to what we would like to, I'm not going to say what's normal, that will be stronger people and happier people in the end.
Yeah, have a greater appreciation for the things that
Yeah.
I think we all took advantage of.
Yeah.
Like going out with friends, like holy moly, we can't.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Never again will I take advantage of
No.
going. I mean, I don't even like to go clubbing, but I cannot wait.
Girl, I'm going clubbing.
I can't wait to go clubbing.
Me too. I'm like, I can't wait to like actually get on the floor as soon as the music hits. Yeah. You know, before you.
I'll probably still be home by 9, but I went. So
yeah, when the music starts at 7, and it'll just be the restaurant music. I'll be like,
yeah,
no.
Exactly.
Okay, so is there really a wave? Is there really a wave?
Yeah, there kind of is.
Like if I was like this, hey, if I was like,
so it comes from the elbow.
So is it the same as the queen wave, or is it different?
Kind of, because like this isn't attractive.
Right? I know, but like, what is the queen wave?
Exaggerating. That's not flattering.
Is the queen wave anymore?
I don't know.
Like I feel like the wave is so unnecessary. I feel like I could just be like this.
You could.
I see you. Don't you worry. Yeah. I don't need to lift and air out.
Yeah. When I won Miss Nevada, I don't even know what I did. It was just like a power, like, oh my gosh, I can't wait. It wasn't even a wave, maybe towards the end, but there is kind of a wave that you know, it just makes things look better.
I think I would do this. I'd be like, hey.
It's not from the wrist. It's actually from the elbow.
Well, I'm sorry. Mine's going to be all fingers, if you don't mind. That's why I didn't make it past the first round. Okay.
Do that.
Let's do a fun Miss America jewelry round. I have some do's and don'ts of pageantry. Here we go. You're just going to say yes or no.
Hang on. I'm like, so.
I know. Don't worry. Okay. Yes or no on the stage. Can I wear this?
Oh, wait. Hang on.
Just yes or no on the pageant stage. Is this acceptable?
No.
Yes or no?
Yes.
Really?
I think so, from what I can tell. Because it's bigger and shinier.
Can you see it? What I'm seeing. Like little, yeah. Okay, yeah. So I could get away with this? Okay.
Yes.
Yes or no?
Absolutely.
Abso-frickin-lutely.
Absolutely.
I got these at Aldo, and as soon as I pulled it out of the package, this one broke, so I can't wear both, and I'm so bummed, so I just wear one.
Well, then just put your hair on the other side.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Oh, you're going to love these. I was actually going to wear these for our session, but then
Ooh, yes.
Are these a yes? Do you think they're
Those are absolute. No, those are 100% a yes.
Like this is like but what dress would you wear? Like what kind of gown would you wear with these?
Usually with something like that, you would wear a solid, like that's something I would pair with like a solid black dress or a solid green dress. Yeah.
Like would you do like what would the neckline be?
Where this is the accent for, like you wouldn't want to wear that with a gown that's very jeweled. Because
but like would you wear like a turtleneck gown or like a V-neck gown or an off the shoulder, or it doesn't matter?
I think either. Any of them. Yeah.
I will never wear these. I don't even know who gave these to me, but they're very retro 70s to me.
They're
but
great.
Yeah, I would think for Miss America.
I love them. I'd wear those.
How dark do you go on a spray tan?
Oh God. With spray tans, you definitely want to do it a few times so that you know exactly what color you're going to be. I used cheapy drugstore brand L'Oreal. It was like $8 for a bottle of it. I knew every time exactly what color it was going to be. The one time that I got a spray tan was before a competition. I did another pageant back in 2017, and I was construction cone orange. I'm not even joking.
Please tell me this. Okay, if you show me that photo, I'll show you my bathing suit photo.
Okay, it's a deal.
It's a trade-off. Do you have it? Like, I need to know that this photo exists.
I'll show you. Yeah, I'll have to find one. But I was so orange that when my mom saw me, she stopped and she just looked at me and said, I know. I can't do anything about it. You can't scrub it off. It doesn't come off.
Oh my gosh.
I kept with it for a couple of days. Yeah.
Who was this person? What is happening?
Well, it was a natural non-toxic spray tan, which I'm not knocking, but it just was not a right fit for what I needed and for my skin.
Okay.
I'm sure that it could be better and might be better on other people, but I guess I'd have to go with all the toxic stuff.
Okay, we're gonna end off this segment with some more fun. You're gonna show your
Okay.
crown and tell us what your favorite crown is.
Oh God. Well, I have two
Need
here
that
behind
crown.
me. Yeah, I have two here behind me. This is the Miss America state crown. Let's see. I'm gonna.
So is that what you wear when you go to like interviews and such?
Uh, it's traditional in the Miss America organization that every appearance that you do, you wear your crown and your sash.
Can you put it on your head for fun?
Yeah.
Thank you. Isn't she lovely? Isn't she wonderful? Is that the song I was looking for?
This one, that song works.
No, but isn't that the Miss America song?
Well, there is the Miss America song.
Oh.
Yeah.
I just feel like that was the song because when I watched the show, I remember this kicking in.
Lovely.
Okay. Oh no, that's not the song.
I don't know.
Oh, I like that one. Tell us about that one.
So this one I love because it has, I don't know if you can tell, but it has like a little V to it with a bigger gem in the middle. This just fits so well in your head. It just doesn't go anywhere. You can put two bobby pins and it stays all day.
Oh, I love that one's really
so
nice.
It's not awkward. And it has 4 points. So the 4 points of the crown mean scholarship success, style, and oh no.
Failed. You're not gonna get past the next round. Just joking.
My pageant girls are gonna.
I love you.
Anyways.
Okay, so when you have a daughter, when you have your daughter, / when you're gonna have a daughter,
yeah.
Are you gonna put her in pageantry and at what age?
I'll show you this one too.
Yeah, show me that one. Sorry, I didn't know there's another one.
Miss USA state crown.
Oh, MGzers.
And this one's great, except it's always just a little awkward. And then it has this thing, so you have to style your hair with it. And it's beautiful. But traditionally in the Miss USA system, you don't wear it as much. It's more for
really like that one.
Yeah, it's beautiful. It has the stars. The stars.
Okay.
This crown over the years hasn't really changed very much at all on the state level.
That's stunning.
Same with the Miss America state crown. They haven't changed, and I love that about them.
That's beautiful. I love that. Like over history, it's the same?
Yeah, pretty much.
Can I see that glam photo of you? Because I'm like kind of obsessed with that like Vogue photo on the bottom.
I'm here.
You take such stunning, like what is happening?
This is actually a local Reno photographer. It was Marie Adair Photography here in Reno. I did that a couple of years ago.
Look how much you look like your mom. Put it side by side. The face is like identical.
Collaboration. Yeah.
Gorgeous.
Yeah. It was a really fun shoot. Just really great photographers.
Oh my goodness.
And I'll show you this too because it's here. But again, I'm at my mom's house, so I don't traditionally have this many photos of myself around.
You're like, I have them everywhere. I do.
But these were my competition photos. So my competition evening gown, Tony Bowles, and competition swimwear.
Love it.
And talent. I sang, what did I sing? Gosh. One rock and roll too many, one night sleep too few, too much ringing that bell takes its hold out of you. Really super fun.
I don't know, what song is that?
It was from, oh my gosh, I'm even blanking on this right now. I'm gonna seem like I'm lying about it.
We'll Shazam it.
One rock and roll too many from Starlight Express, Andrew Lloyd Webber.
Yes, that's right.
And then this was, we did a runway show at the Las Vegas Mall, the runway there.
Yeah. And
we did a huge runway show. It was really, really fun. Yeah.
Well, I love you to bits and pieces.
Oh, I'll show you one more thing since it's here.
I want you in Calgary.
So this is my dad. He did unfortunately pass away when I was 19 years old, but he was able to attend my very first local and my very first Miss Nevada pageant. And the only time I ever saw him in a tux was for the Miss Nevada pageant to walk me into the room after the pageant was over. So that's my mom and my dad in a tux.
Oh my
So
goodness, he looks so
yeah, I
handsome.
know. And he passed away 5 months later.
Wow. I'm so happy he was able to see that.
Yeah.
That's so
But
special.
the memories that the pageantry system have just held for me include that, which is,
Wow.
totally different than is expected. But though I'll never see him in a tux at my wedding or anything like that, I did get to see him once.
That's beautiful.
So, yeah.
Oh, Josie.
Yeah.
That's beautiful. Well, thank you so much for your time today. And I hope little ones are feeling inspired that, the pageant world is not just about, the exterior, but it is about poise and, finding your platform and speaking your truth and how you want to change the world.
The exterior is kind of the fun part, you get to put on makeup and dress up but that's, I went to so many different homeless shelters and schools and talked to at-risk kids and even went to the jail here once. You do a lot of different really cool world-changing things. And I will say that as I've gotten older, and it's been a few years, and as the kids that I got to inspire when I was Miss Nevada have gotten on Facebook, they'll still track me down. So every once in a while I'll get a message that says, hey, I was in second grade when you came to visit my school, but I just really wanted to say thanks so much for coming. And I just always remember, in those moments for me, almost always make me cry because it's like that was the point,
Yeah.
was to just inspire kids that maybe at the time could relate to what my story was. And is,
Jules, we're ending on a cry note? No!
But I really hope that, I do hate the stereotypes, but it's really fun to be able to convince people differently. And I hope that, anybody that watches this has their mind changed maybe a little bit.
Beautiful. And you're still coaching. If people want coaching, they can reach
out. I do here and there, selectively. I'm selective with the systems that I coach for, just because I'm not very familiar with some. Like I said, there's a ton of different pageants out there, and I want to be the best that I can be for girls that I coach. So
but it is a passion.
Yes, I love it. I'll do it forever. As long as I'm asked, I'll do it forever because I just love it.
Maybe we'll both enter the 60+ category. The Miss Senior
Universe.
Miss Senior 20.
You'll be Canada. I'll be America.
Oh yeah.
Or Hungary, Canada.
Well, I love you to bits. Thank you so much for sharing your time with me. That was Juliana Urdez. I'll add her Instagram and all that fun stuff at the bottom so you can follow her. And if you have any more pageantry questions, you can reach out to her. She's the kindest soul I know. I love you, baby.